Everyone have the wrong impression what being wealthy is. And they think being wealthy is this, or maybe this. So in this video, I would like to show you 3 things that you should avoid if you want to become a millionaire in the next 10 years. Welcome to my channel. Who I am and why should you listen to me? I worked in the United States for several years, and I got to the point that I invested more than 60% of my salary, which allowed me to retire at the age of 45. Now, I am showing everybody how you can actually accomplish this, because I am sure I can make a positive impact in society and be able to show many people who think that this is actually possible, because this is actually possible. So at this point of my life, I am actually generating more money from my investments than what my job used to pay me. And I left a job with a corporation in the United States that I was making over 6 figures. I actually made the most money in 2024 when I decided to retire. So I would like to share with you some specific examples about my life that allowed me to get here and be able to retire at the age of 45. Okay, so let's start with the first one. And the first mistake that you should avoid is buying too much house. House in the United States especially is a symbol of success. And if you think about when people talk about the American dream many people think is just buying a house. If you buy a house, now you're part of the American dream because you own a home. But the problem is that most homes actually own the people. And let me tell you what I mean. If you go and get pre-approved for a house, of course, the mortgage brokers and the realtor, they want to make the biggest commission. And the problem is that they are going to try to push you into the largest amount of loan because they want to make a bigger commission. They don't care if you're going to struggle paying for this home. They just want to get a bigger commission, and they're going to push you into buying the house that the bank will actually approve you for. And of course, the bank is going to give you a really high amount, more than what you can afford. The problem is that most people end up buying too much house. And this is the problem, because then they don't have any money left over for emergencies or to invest and save, to take vacations. They actually end up working just to pay the house. And the problem is when they lose their job or their income gets cut for whatever reason, they actually run into struggle, and they don't have an emergency fund to make any repairs. And that's what people don't think about it. A house requires maintenance. Besides all the increases in taxes and insurance that we have been suffering in the past few years, and people don't think about this. They just think that if I make $4,000 every month, I can actually pay a $3,500 monthly payment. And that's all they think about. They don't think about anything else. I purchased my new home. It was a small town house. It was a 1980 house, which was sufficient for me. Then I was able to sell the house, get some of the equity, and buy a newer home later on in life. But I didn't buy anything large. I purchased enough house just for me to live. This house was everything I needed. It was not anything large that required a lot of furniture, and it didn't require a lot of maintenance. So what I did is that I spent in my house payment the entire time less than 30% of my entire salary. And as my salary increased, I actually kept paying the same amount every year. And that's the advantage sometimes when you buy a house, that you secure a mortgage payment for 30 years. And this is the problem with a lot of Americans too, that a lot of people, they see their value of their home continue to increase, and they get into these HELOCs, they refinance their house, and they pull their equity. Please stop doing this. All you're doing is hurting yourself, increasing your monthly payment, and extending the length of your mortgage. Some people will never end paying for their home because they continue refinancing and spending the money that they pull from their equity. And this is just not healthy. So please stop doing that. Just pay that home and that's it. Imagine if you have a $2,000 mortgage payment and you end up paying your house in full. Now you have $2,000 a month extra in your checking account that you can use to invest and continue to grow your wealth. So stop giving your money to the bank and start saving and investing. Trust me, this is going to pay in the long run. The second mistake that you should avoid is buying too much car. Everybody in the US, they want to show their status with their brand new car, with the nicest car, and especially now with Tesla. Tesla is so popular and people continue to buy Teslas, and Teslas are not really cheap. Teslas are $60,000, $70,000. Some of them, like the Cybertruck, is more than $100,000 for a car. What I did many years ago is that instead of buying an expensive car, what I did is I bought Tesla shares with all the money that I had. Instead of buying a car that actually depreciates in value, I actually bought a lot of Tesla shares. And now I am seeing all the results from these purchases. So I didn't care that people actually thought that I was not driving a fancy car. I was actually looking at my investment account continue to grow, especially during 2020 and 2021, when Tesla shares actually skyrocketed. And these have helped my investments succeed so much that I didn't even actually expect it to retire at the end of 2024. My goal was to retire at the end of 2025. But the investments work like that, and this is why I am sharing all this information with you right now. I actually did something with my car, which I'm gonna put it as a bonus information. This is something that is going to shock your mind, but I'm gonna leave it at the end of the video. The third thing you need to avoid to become a millionaire is to buy things that you don't need. Have you ever seen all these commercials where they show you exactly the product and why you need it, why you need to buy it now, and why your life will not be the same without it? This is how advertising works, especially in the US. They want to sell anything. They want to sell a machine for anything. You need to scratch your back, they have a machine for that. And they are going to convince you that you need it right now because the time is running low and you need to get it ASAP. And especially with credit cards, you can just swipe that credit card and that's it. That product is all yours. The problem is that now you need to pay for it. And now sometimes it takes people 3, 5, 6 years to pay for this item that they didn't need. Some people actually go on vacation for 1 week and they end up paying for that vacation for 3, 5 years. This is crazy, and I don't know why people don't do the math, how much they actually end up paying for that vacation instead of just saving the cash and pay for the vacation in advance without getting into debt. So there is a saying in my family that people know me for, and it's, do you want it or do you need it? And this is something that you should ask yourself every time you're going to make a purchase. Most people also buy all this stuff just to impress others, other people that they don't even care about you. So the vacations, for example, that I took it because I wanted it, not because I wanted to impress others. I am traveling the world because this was my dream, to be able to retire early and get to see many different cultures. I don't care what people think, what places I visit, if I am not visiting all these popular areas, or maybe staying in a 5-star hotels. I just want to enjoy life because the only person that I am trying to impress is myself, being able to feel satisfied with everything I accomplished. So if you avoid making these 3 mistakes, trust me, your life will change significantly in the next 10 years. And as I mentioned, I wanted to bring to you a bonus item that I did when I was working in the US. I didn't buy a car, actually. I actually leased my car. And I know this is gonna sound crazy to many of you, but listen to me and watch the math. What I did is that my company actually paid for my car because I had to drive, so they paid me mileage. So what most people in my job, what they did is that they actually put more money into whatever the company used to give us, and they just went and bought a BMW or Mercedes-Benz or a nice Porsche. So in this case, since I had a free car, what I did is I leased my car, which I paid $300 for a Toyota Camry, which included all maintenance, 100%, tires, battery, and even oil change, which is crazy. And they even wash your car for free at the dealership. Some of my friends actually bought the same car and they were paying a little more than $600 a month. So they were paying actually twice as much for buying the same car, while I was paying only half of the money. And besides, I actually got to change my car every 2.5 to 3 years. So every time I had a brand new car, which I was driving for free. It was a great advantage and a great benefit, so thank you, job, for doing this. So I am going to show you how this made me so much money all the way to the end, when I actually sold my car before I actually started traveling around the world in December 2024. Listen to this. Why did I decide to lease a car? Someone who bought the car actually paid twice as much. So they paid $300 more than what I did. So if we put this $300 every month, and the person who purchased the car, they financed it for 6 years, 72 months. So that means that if we multiply our $300 for 72 months, that means that at the end of the 6 years, I had $21,600 in my bank that I used to invest. While at the end of the 6 years, this person who bought the car, and let's say they paid fully for the car, at the end of the 6 years, this car will be worth between $10,000 or $12,000. And let's put $12,000. So what is a higher amount? $21,600 or $12,000? And now let's add that I had 2 brand new cars in the same 6 years, that I didn't have to worry about maintenance or braking in the middle of the street or anything, just to put fuel in that car. Besides, I was able to invest this $21,600 in the stock market, which produced me a lot more money. And since I was getting a free car, I was not even investing $21,600. I was investing twice as much because I was getting a free car. So think about the magnitude for years and years investing, and this is actually how a car multiplied my money significantly instead of eating my money away in a depreciating asset. To end this story, I want to tell you that at the end of my lease, what I did is I contacted Toyota and they told me I could return the car. If I would return the car actually needed new tires. And they were probably going to charge me for that besides the wear and tear. So I actually made some quotes in different dealerships telling them that I wanted to sell the car, even though it was a lease, which I didn't know that this was possible. But in Toyota website, they had 3 options: to return the car, to buy the car, or to sell it to a dealership. So I just contacted other dealerships and asked them, how much will you give me for the car? So my payoff amount was $14,600, and this Chevy dealership actually ended up buying my car for $16,500, which at the end of the deal, I actually ended up walking out the dealership with a $1,900 check. So not only all these lease cars, they actually ended up making me money, but they actually ended up giving me a bonus so I could spend some money during my trip here around the world. So I just want to share this story because I have been telling you in my videos that making the right moves, smart moves with your finances can make such a big difference for your future. And little by little, everything adds. So let me know your thoughts. I would love to know if you have any other suggestions of things that you should avoid, and what do you think about this information that I posted in this video. My goal is that I can help you make money with investments and help you reach financial independence sooner. I know you're going to accomplish great things, so get ready because the best is yet to come.